want to welcome you to No Nonsense Nonprofits. Hi, I'm Sandy Ray, founder of Sandra E. Ray, CPA, where we alleviate financial headaches so that you can create a bigger impact. Today, we're talking about fundraising and gaming reporting on Schedule G for Form 990. There are many people who think that Schedule G don't apply to them, and I want to ensure you that it may, and you need to be looking at that, especially since the instructions were revised in December of 2024. If you haven't looked through those instructions, I encourage you to do that. They're on the IRS website. Many nonprofits are unintentionally triggering Schedule G without even realizing it. And that can often lead to errors in inconsistent reporting, confusion by the board or your donors, and the increased probability of an audit or some sort of IRS scrutiny or watchdog scrutiny. So our goal today is to help you know when Schedule G applies to your organization and what to watch for, and some best practices to put in place. So let's get started. So what is Schedule G? As we said, it's a supplement to Form 990. It reports revenue from fundraising events, special events, and gaming activities. And the purpose from the IRS's perspective is transparency and fundraising, oversight of our paid fundraisers, and compliance with state gaming regulations and charitable solicitation registration. Not only is the IRS looking at this, but states are looking at this. So our key takeaway is that Schedule G isn't about how much you raised, it's how you raised it. There's some interesting things on there that we really get into some detail on Schedule G, and people who are reviewing your 990 can see how you raised your funds. So there's basically three sections to Schedule G. There's the fundraising activities. So if you've raised more than $15,000 from fundraising campaigns, or if you used a professional fundraiser during the year, whether that was a paid individual or a company, then you're required to fill out Schedule G. If you have a special event and fundraising events totaled more than $15,000, examples of those events are like our galas, our walks, our runs, auctions, a benefit dinner, concert, you name it. There's an infinite number of fundraising ideas out there. Those are special events, and that would trigger us needing to report on Schedule G. And then finally, if you have any gaming activities, gaming revenue in excess of $15,000, for example, a bingo, raffles, pull tabs, a casino, or a poker night, those are all going to trigger this Schedule G, needing to fill that out. One thing I want to talk about when we talk about these thresholds, it's not how much profit did you make, it's what is the gross receipts. So if your gross receipts were $15,000 in any of those areas, then you're probably going to have to, you are going to need to fill out Schedule G, either parts 1, 2, or 3. So what information is collected? So we've determined that, okay, we're going to have to do a Schedule G. What do we need to keep track of during the year to make this form easier to fill out? And part 1 of the schedule just talks about fundraising activities in general. It asks, did you use a professional fundraiser? And if yes, we need the name of the fundraiser, the states where the fundraising occurred, and the amount raised versus the amount paid the fundraiser. So there's that transparency between those professional fundraisers. Back in the day, there were these call centers that would give the charity like 5% of what they raised, and they would keep this 95%. And that's one of the reasons we have this form. So we want to also make sure with this form that there's some compliance with the state solicitation registration, not only for the organization, but is the professional fundraiser registered as well. So that's probably one thing you want to check out when you are looking at professional fundraisers. The risk areas for the fundraising section, or part 1, is not having a complete contract where you can get that information in the contract. The specifics of the financial relationship is not specified enough. And then the other part is what you report on Schedule G needs to be consistent with what we report on Part 8 of the Form 990, which is our statement of revenue. So we're reporting gross and then expenses and net. Now moving on to part 2 of Schedule G, special events. We report up to 2 major events individually if the gross receipts were $5,000 or more. And then the rest of the events get consolidated and are reported on the Schedule G as well. So you have to know what was your top 2 raising funding events, your top 2 events with the biggest gross receipts, and those are going to go on separately. So I recommend that you're tracking income and expense by event in your accounting system, because you're going to need to know not only the gross receipts, but you're going to have to separate what was the event income versus donations received during the event. Those both get reported on Schedule D in Part 2. We're going to have to know the direct expenses. Examples would be catering, your venue expenses, your entertainment, any specific marketing that you did. Those will all be direct expenses. And then, of course, we'll report net income. Now, expenses, there's some very specific line items on Schedule G. So you are going to need to track your expenses by cash prizes given out, non-cash prizes, facility or other facility costs for your venue. Your food and beverage has to be shown separately. Your entertainment cost has to be shown separately. And then all other costs are grouped into a final line item. Now moving on to part 3, which is gaming. So you're going to have to state what type of gaming activity occurred and who conducted the gaming. Did volunteers run the gaming activities? Was it paid staff of the organization, or did you have an outside vendor? You're also going to have to report your gross receipts and your expenses, similar to those line items that we talked about on the special events, cash prizes, non-cash prizes, etc. And of course, your net income. And then you're going to need to confirm that you are in compliance with your state gaming laws. It's important to note that gaming rules vary by state, and the IRS expects you to follow them. So here's some common mistakes or some risks in this, that things that we just want to avoid. And the first one is reporting net income instead of gross receipts. That's the thing that triggers the schedule. We have to look at gross receipts. Forgetting to include professional fundraisers, whether they're individuals or companies. If you're paying someone outside of your normal payroll, that's a professional fundraiser. You might want to look at the instructions for the definition, but we have to report that. And then again, we're going to want to make sure that what we put on Schedule G aligns with what is on Part 8, the Statement of Revenue for the Form 990. And you're going to want to make sure that it also lines up with your financial statements, your GAAP presentation. So you're going to want to make sure that we're consistent across all those areas. Don't assume that using volunteers means there's no reporting requirement. The reporting requirement keys off the gross income. And treating raffles as minor activities, don't do that. If you have a raffle or a gaming activity, you need to look at Schedule G and determine whether it's required or not. So the key takeaways that I want to give you for today is that Schedule G applies more often than organizations expect. The instructions were revised in December of 2024. Again, if you haven't read them, please do. Thresholds for reporting are based on gross receipts, and accuracy on this form protects your organization's credibility. It provides that trust with your board, and it gives you compliance with IRS regulations and your state regulations as well. So I encourage you to review your fundraising activities, your special events, and your gaming for the year. Consider whether Schedule G is required before filing. Align your finance, development, and leadership teams to make sure everybody's on the same page and that we're tracking all of the information that we need for everyone. And if you're unsure about anything, consult a CPA or your nonprofit advisor. We can use Schedule G as a planning tool, not just a filing requirement. The information that we need for Schedule G is a wonderful indicator of how our fundraising activities are contributing to the mission of our organization. I hope this was helpful. And if you have any questions on this or other topics, please put that in the comment section below. And of course, we always appreciate your likes. I want to thank you for joining me today. And remember, creating a bigger impact starts with stopping the nonsense. If you're dealing with nonsense in your nonprofit organization, we'd love to help you cut through the noise.